All right, guys, we're going to get into We Bury the Dead. This came out January 2nd, 2026 here in the US. We just confirm it here. Yeah, it's 86 Rotten Teas, but the user score, this is going to be one of those conflicting films this year, right? In January, we get pretty subpar films. I've discussed that before with Yins, but 46% user score, 86% Rotten Tomatoes. So a big separation there. Big separation. We're going to talk about it. So it's a zombie film. And I hate to just call it that because it's so much more than that, and it's really barely a zombie film, okay? And we're going to talk about that. It's not George A. Romero, the classic zombie god. Let's just be honest, right? It's not Walking Dead. It's not 28 Days. It's not, World War Z, right? It's its own genre for once. So I give them props on being able to reinvent what a zombie can be, what it could look like, what it could do. And I'm going to leave this spoiler free. I'm going to very skim the surface of that to kind of paint the picture and emotions that I felt during this film. But the synopsis of it is Daisy Ridley, which I'll be straight up, I didn't expect much from her in this, and she acts her ass off. That girl can act. She just has not been picking good movies, specifically the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Listen, not my favorite thing. But she hasn't been in much good stuff since then. Unlike Adam Driver, I feel like he's had really good roles. But Daisy Ridley can act, and she can have good roles, and I think she's fantastic in this. It's just unfortunate this is not a breakout movie for her, and I'd like to see her do some more horror, because she did good in this. But yeah, it's a zombie thriller. Follows Daisy Ridley, who joins a voluntary body retrieval unit to find her husband after a catastrophic failed military experiment in Tasmania. So I'll break it down into my words without spoiling. Is her and her husband, right? They just recently get married. He goes on a work trip to Tasmania. She really, they don't, in the beginning, they kind of hinted this, and like I said, you'll get answers later in the film. We're not going to spoil it, but there's something they need to discuss. There's a little bit of marital issues going on. And he says, we'll talk about it after my work trip. So, of course, he goes on this work trip. An explosion or a bomb or some form goes off by accident, right? It was a military research device of some sort that goes off, and it wipes out Tasmania, right? And everybody within a certain amount of radius, it might even be the whole area, to be honest with you, are all dead. But some of the bodies have now came back online. That's the term they use in there. So think of it like an EMP for your brain. I think they even say that in the film at one point. It goes off, click, you fall down. So maybe if you weren't killed by the blast radius, but this pulse that this experimental weapon had killed you in the middle eating dinner, bathing, all that stuff. And that's why they need a body retrieval unit for people to come down, go house to house, street to street, literally take bodies out, and then have a collection unit like a truck come down. But if you happen to find someone who's online, they're meant to be harmless. They're just kind of groggy in and out of a state, and you have to flag the military down, and the military will come in and pretty much euthanize them and take them out, right? So Daisy Ridley, an American, and this was an American bomb that went off in Tasmania, so they're not happy with Americans. She volunteers because she wants to find her husband. And this film really is just about grief, loss, and I'd say the desperate search for closure. That's like the real tones that this film puts. It's not meant to just be some horror, action, zombie survival. He's trying to have a deeper message, and there's a lot of trippy scenes and stuff that reminds me of like the movie Annihilation, if you've seen that. But that movie's actually better. I'm not trying to put them apples to apples here. That movie's really well done, and how that movie had just a lot of under the surface stuff to it, right? And I do like the film. It's a little slow, gets you going. She's in that body retrieval unit, they're retrieving bodies, and of course she comes across someone who's online, and I couldn't help to feel the same feelings that I've seen and felt during the original Resident Evil video game when you see your first zombie and just turns and looks at you, right? And you see the face, and this is what I love that he did with this. He nails this, dude, and this is why it's like I'm so mad about this film, because the way he nails zombies in this, at least in the beginning, it's creepy. They look human still, but undead, and just they're there, and just the look in the eyes. He gets the eyes right. He gets the face, the makeup. It's so done good. We're not talking about CGI here. He does really good actual work. It's unsettling, and that is a current tone throughout the film. When you see more of them, it's almost like, how human are they? Do they have the feelings? Are they thinking? Is there somebody underneath all that? They just can't speak, almost similar to like a coma, you know what I mean? Are they like in a state of just, hey, I'm here, but they can't portray it or like, you know, really express their emotions. Like, so you don't know how much of the human is left in them. And that's kind of cool because it's not a virus. It's not like a, you know, an undead, like they're just out there to eat your brains type vibe, right? It's more of a emotional human, like a realistic approach, if I were. And I know it sounds like I'm really hyping it up on that aspect because I am. I think that's where he nails this film. Besides Daisy Ridley's acting and the way he nails zombies, at least in the beginning, and some other scenes he does later on too. There's even another good scene too. Like I said, I don't want to get into spoilers too much to where we get to a cabin and it turns into almost like just like a thriller. And that was a fun scene with a couple of the characters. But there's just so much, like the tone is dark and depressing, right? Because we're trying to find her husband. And then there's just goofy scenes with her and her co-star, which, you know, they both good actors. Let me pull it up here though. Get the co-star's name for you. Brenton, I cannot pronounce his last name. Sorry guys. Brenton Thwaites. It's Thwaites. So Thwaites. And that's who she partners up with just by chance. That's just who they pair her with in this. And just the way, I don't really care for the chemistry. The conversations between them were just, I don't know. I think it kind of takes me out of like what could have stayed dark, depressing. And he could have just had this descend more horrific and into hell, but he doesn't. I feel like the levity and just weird choices he chooses going forward in the film just, you know, took me out of it a bit. I wouldn't race to the theater for it. You know, if it comes to streaming, check it out. If you're a really big zombie fan, specifically, you know, wanting to see something new in the genre, watch it. The problem you're going to have is you're going to love the zombies but hate the film. Like, you know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with it. I love the zombies but hate the film. And it's not because of the acting. It's just the tone and the script and it just goes all over the place. And it should have just stayed truer to zombies. Should have showed more zombies. Should have stayed horrific with that and kept grinding in that moment of just deep depression. Because I mean, the whole thing is she's there just searching for her husband, right? I mean, everybody kind of is like thinking, there's like no way he's alive if everyone died here in Tasmania. But you get that sense of hope, and it's awesome that it gives you that hope. And you truly don't know until the end if he's going to be alive, if he's going to be dead, or is he going to be back online as a zombie? You know, which one of the three is it going to be? And it's cool to see her journey to that because I just wish it would have stayed darker. That's all. I just feel like the tone was all over the place. I know what they're really pushing this whole sense of grief and a lot of like just metaphors and stuff, but it just didn't land with me. There's one scene there, literally they go from a deep depressing scene. This is in the third act, by the way. Deep depressing scene that Daisy has. And the next minute you know, her and her co-star are drinking and partying and just like having fun in the zombie world. And I'm like, what is this? Like, it just gives me, what's that video game called, man? It just didn't land well with me at all. Like, I think he could have stuck more into that depression zone of the Tony starts with, and I think it would have did 10 times better. It's on the tip of my tongue now, guys. I gotta look this up. Let's see. Not Left 4 Dead, but Dead Island. You know, like Dead Island was like not scary at all. It was just goofy fun. Like, it was almost like we'd get horrific. Is that a human behind there? Feel bad for the zombie type moments. Feel bad for Daisy. Feel bad for these characters that are having to see this and go through this and process grief and emotions and loss of love. I loved all that. Like I said, there's really good scenes in this, and there's really good breakdowns of what characters are dealing with that really brings on good emotions. And then it'll just come out of nowhere and give you like a Dead Island type vibe if you're familiar with that video game, where it's just like they're just goofing around. Like, I mean, I don't know. Check it out for yourself. I'd love to hear people's opinions on this. You know, I wanted this one to land. I went into it with no expectations, but as I was watching it, I was starting to grow on me, and then it would take me out of it. And then I was liking it, and then it would take me out of it. So it was just a bad roller coaster of emotions for me. It just didn't land the way the director wanted it to, at least with me. So let me know you guys liked it. I wouldn't race to the theaters for it, but if you're a true zombie fan, check it out. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you want to hear more. If you want to hear me break down more spoilers in this or the ending, I could go into it with you guys. If you had any questions about this, feel free. Let me know. I have no problem digging more deeper into this film. Okay. All right, guys. Take care. Peace.